What's good, family? It's your man the YB, back once again. So, for you cats out there who don't know what's been going on, Terence Bum Crawford has now officially ducked Errol Spence, the big fish, to fight David Avanesian instead next month. Shocker, absolute whopper. Now, in reaction, finally, Errol Spence has broken his silence on the duckage and said the following: I don't even know who that is. Who that? Yeah? Where are they doing that? That's what he said, 100%. Everybody sees now who's been holding the fight up. I've got to talk to my manager, but I already told them I'm at this weight too long. I don't know. I might be moving up. Wow. Now, I can't blame Errol Spence. It's for me, just honestly, if I wasn't making a few coins, literally a few coins as well, but if I wasn't making a little piece of coins from this game, I've been saying this for a while, to be honest, but this really sums it up. Yeah, now I do have to say, Errol Spence has played this situation. It's not his fault, but I do think Errol Spence has played the situation poorly. He should have been I guess maybe even Errol Spence has been completely blindsided. I was about to say Errol Spence should have put public pressure on a lot earlier. But then again, maybe Errol Spence put in public pressure a few days ago. He probably wasn't expecting Terence Crawford to come out of nowhere and bring a new fight in. Do you know what I'm saying? Who would have guessed that? So I can't blame Errol Spence. Yeah, Errol Spence said, here, everybody sees now who's holding the fight up. The problem is, people, I remember doing a video a month ago. Errol Spence was saying everyone needs to, all the fans. Honestly, Errol Spence wasn't airing out. Listen, a month ago, Errol Spence wasn't airing out Terence Crawford. He was telling the fans, all the fans need to sit down somewhere and relax. The fight's coming. That's what he said. He didn't say anything about Terence Crawford bugging. Yeah. So yeah, you know what? I was gonna give Errol Spence a bit more credit, but I'm not now actually. Errol Spence only had attitude for the fans. Now he's trying to change up like he's been telling us all this time it's Crawford. No, you could have been doing that. If I was managing Spence, I'd have been doing that. We don't owe anything to Crawford. End of the day, yeah, if we know we want a fight and we're trying to do everything to make the fight, I don't owe Crawford any favours trying to help his public image. If he's playing games, I'm telling you, he's playing games. And that's what I've been telling these guys, yeah. Anyone out there who genuinely wants a fight, you should encourage as much public disclosure as possible. I'm not talking about Tyson Fury deadline setting and clowning off. I'm talking about proper things. Yeah? If there's actual things going on, not waffling deadlines and all bullshit, but real things should be out there. For example, fans, to let you know, we've offered Terence Crawford 60-40 and he ain't taking it. For example, or whatever, do you know what I mean? Whatever the holding points are, I'd be put any holding point. If I know I'm trying to genuinely make a fight, yeah, and this guy's bugging out and taking his time and whatever else, stalling, I'm going to put it out there. Hey people, Terence Crawford agreed to the terms and I haven't heard from him for the last 40 hours. Don't forget, people, Errol Spence came out a few days ago and said, my team hasn't heard from Crawford in 2 weeks. Well, that's the point. That's what I'm saying. It should never get to 2 weeks. If we haven't heard from you in 24 hours, don't forget, people, yeah, it's an email. We're not sending pigeons. There's no reason in this business world where these big lawyers and big dons are getting paid $1,000 an hour. There's no reason someone's email should be empty for 2 days. No way. That's not how big business works. It's multiple emails per day. Who does that? I've never heard of that one. In all the big business, I've never heard of someone bugging or MIA for 2 days. Not even a bit. So Errol Spence, and that's just one example, one recent example over the last 4 months. And I'm not saying just for Errol Spence's side. If Terence Crawford's got the same grievance, he could do the same. That's the great thing about public disclosure. No confusion. Errol Spence sat on it. Again, I'm not blaming him, but there's things he certainly could have done. Now it's just a big flop. And I've got to say this, I said a while ago, I had a feeling both men aren't really too bothered about the fight happening. Now, clearly Crawford weren't happy about the fight happening. because he's got another fight booked against a bum, as he's always done. Errol Spence, not so much. And the thing is, Errol Spence does like to be active. Particularly after his crash. He's made a point of trying to be more active. So, the reason I bring it up is to say that he could have fought. He could have been fought a few people already. A few bums. Terence Crawford, I need to be active. If you need to be active, that's the great... Like, I remember, Eddie Hearn offered Deontay Wilder in the AJ fight. Wilder was offered a 3-fight deal. Yeah? Fight Dominic Breazeale and then 2 AJ fights. You can build that in. Terence Crawford could have said, yep, I want to fight you. Let's have a 1-fight or a 2-fight deal, and we'll both have a warm-up fight in the meantime. If anything, actually, that might be a great marketing strategy. We're both going to fight. Yeah? We're both going to have lead-up fights, and then it's going to come together 6 months from now. We're both going to have a lead-up fight in... Let's not forget, these negotiations started back in June. They could have had the lead-up fight in August, and then had a real fight in January or December. No joke, they were literally negotiating from May, June. So they could have been had that. They could have been had the Avanesian fight in August, and then wrapped it up in you know what I mean, December. That could have been happened. Did Terence Crawford request that? If he did, we don't know about it. Listen, if Terence Crawford comes back and says, listen, back in June I proposed we both have another fight, a middle fight, and then we get it on in December. If that's the case, boom. We ain't heard that one. All we've heard is Terence Crawford pulled his bullshit out. And I'm just praying that somehow, some way, Spence continues at the weight. But I gotta be honest, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, he's gone up how many weights? About 2, 3, 4 weights. Spence is huge at the weight and has always been a 147. So the same, look how much Terence Crawford has grown into this 147 pound. He looks as big as anyone else. I'll bring that up to say, Errol Spence, he hasn't moved up no weight divisions in 10 years. Is that healthy? I don't know. For all we know, Errol Spence is going to grow into a 160 pound. Errol Spence, has the frame. I mean, look at Canelo. Canelo's a full-fledged 168 pounder now. And it's tiny. For all we know, Errol Spence can genuinely fill into a 160 pound frame. And he's already 31-year-old. It's not like he's young as a spring chicken. I'm not even sure really it's strategically that smart to keep balling yourself down. And that's what frustrates me the most. And it makes me wonder, does Terence Crawford know this? This is almost like, imagine Terence Crawford still being at 135. He wouldn't do it, would he? It makes me wonder, is Terence Crawford trying to either, number one, purely duck Errol Spence, i.e., I know Errol Spence doesn't want to be at the weight, let me just stall this out and Errol Spence will have to move up. Or number two, is he thinking, the older I leave Errol Spence, the more drained he's going to be at the weight. Either way, Crawford a whole clown. And I'm praying somehow, some way. And that's the bad thing is, you see, Errol Spence, because he has so many belts, he now is going to have to fight the killers. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but listen, Errol Spence wants to fight Terence Crawford. Does he want to fight Jaron Ennis at 147? Maybe not. The point is, if he's going to fight top contenders, he may as well do so on the trail on 154 or 160 where he's not killing himself. Do you understand? If I'm going to go on a trail somewhere and fight the top guys, why do that, balling yourself down and risking your health even more so? Doesn't make sense, does it? The only way it makes sense to stay at 147 is if you're fighting the dude. Yeah, you're fighting the other guy. You're finishing that. Basically, this fight, Spence Crawford, is drawing a line under it, wrapping it all up. Does Errol Spence want to stay at 147 just to be there for being their sake? I'm not so sure, and I can't even really blame him at this point. Particularly when Crawford has pulled this move. Yeah, Crawford could have put this into the contract, and that way no one will be blindsided. And the fact he pulled this move tells me he's a whole clown. Who does that? And Errol Spence leaked the fact that we didn't hear nothing from Crawford for 2 weeks. Clearly, Team Crawford was making this fight. Who does that? Explain that to me. If Crawford was a serious guy, he could have come out and said, listen, Errol, we're closing negotiations off and we've chosen to go in another direction. Why didn't he say that? Which is, by the way, what he actually planned to do. Which again tells me Crawford's just a whole clown and he's playing. I think he's scared to death of Errol Spence. And that's the bottom line. And Terence Crawford is the original bum slayer. I'm not sure who's worse, to be honest. Tank Davis. Because at least Tank Davis don't lie. Yeah, Tank Davis ain't going nowhere near Devin Haney. Ain't going nowhere near Shakur Stevenson. And he makes that clear. Yeah? He don't even try. But the fact Crawford went through 6 months of negotiations only to pull this tells me he a weirdo. A scary ass weirdo at that. Because he's trying to front. Oh yeah, I really want it. You don't want it. You never wanted it. You're the bum slayer. Yeah? You're the guy who go life and death with Gamboa. Pitbull. 135 Pitbull, yeah? Just chewed through Gamboa. And Crawford was going life and death with the guy. He don't want Spence. He just don't. That's the conclusion. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But there, bottom line is, man, I'm praying somehow, some way, Errol Spence stays at 147. I don't know who the governing bodies are. They should have been stepped in. Terence, you ain't. I don't know what you think you're doing, but you ain't doing it with this belt. If you want to fight Avanesian, you can do that. Fighting Avanesian isn't some belt thing, is it? If you want to fight Avanesian, you can do it as an anybody. Yeah? If you want to continue representing this belt, you'll be fighting Spence. Simple as that. That's how it should have been said. Anyway, boxing is down bad, to say the least. Honestly, this year, how many good fights have we got left this year? None. And in fact, it's filled with clown fights instead. Fury versus Chisora, clown fight. Crawford versus Avanesian, clown fight. When you think about what should be on the agenda. No, it pissed me off. Proper pissed me off. Tell you what, get Crawford out of here. I ain't trying to hear no more from Crawford. I'd love for Avanesian to wash the guy as well. That's what he need. Terence Crawford need a good washing. 100%.